If you've ever spent any amount of time in Frederick, you know that it's an eventful place with a lot to get into. You would also know that Frederick certainly knows how to make a headline or two, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. My name is Levi Trumbull, and today we will be discussing the 5 biggest stories that dominated headlines within the past year and really put the spotlight on the county. Starting with number 5, we have livable Frederick. After years of community input, public hearings, and other government activity, the County Council passed Livable Frederick, the county's master planning document. Livable Frederick Master Plan serves as a core, vision-based, policy-focused document with a collection of other interrelated plans, such as community and corridor plans, functional plans, and large area plans that all stem and support from this central core document. Officials have described this plan as a visionary document that is much different than prior master plans in the past. The document hopes to shape the way and the look of Frederick County for the future. Number 4, the Frederick Keys could be in danger. The Frederick Keys is a minor league baseball team that is considered a Class A advanced affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. The franchise is named after Francis Scott Key, the native of Frederick County who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. The team found itself on the chopping block after the New York Times released a list of minor league teams that Major League Baseball may shut down. It's unclear what the Frederick Keys would need to do to get off that list, but as a team with the highest attendance in the league and a long-standing positive relationship with the city, it was a surprise to many to see that the team may wind up getting the boot. Number 3, crime and homelessness in downtown Frederick. An uptick of shootings and other violent crimes put downtown Frederick under the spotlight in 2019 as residents began to express fear within their own community. Residents placed much of the blame on the city's homeless population as the cause for this pattern of lawlessness. The residents of Frederick were vocal with their concerns to Mayor Michael O'Connor, as well as the city's nonprofits who are working to address the issue in downtown. Around the same time, Mayor Michael O'Connor fired longtime Community Action Agency leader Mike Spurrier after apparently telling him in an email that he needed to either resign or retire. Mike, who had been in the position for more than 30 years, ultimately was escorted out by 3 people, including a police officer, on his last day with the agency. It's noteworthy to add that Spurrier also took much of the blame from residents for the crime and homelessness along Carroll Creek. Number 2, immigration. The national debate surrounding immigration policy and Frederick County's increasingly purple political makeup made Frederick County a battleground for this issue of immigration in 2019. Calls for Frederick County Sheriff Chuck Jenkins to cease participation in the 287G program hit a boiling point with dueling rallies in downtown that were held in different areas of Frederick. One rally in support and one rally in opposition to the agreement with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to follow the 287G guidelines. Opponents say the program creates unnecessary fear among immigrants in the county. Proponents of the program say it is effective in keeping out criminal gangs and lowering crime in general. The county also has launched an audit on the program to see what the program costs the taxpayers, and state officials have requested opinions on the program from the state's Attorney General's office. The issue will likely continue to be at the forefront of Frederick County in 2020. Now, before we talk about the number 1 story that has dominated headlines, we thought we'd bring up a few honorable mentions. The Logo Fiasco. The city of Frederick unveiled a new logo as part of a branding and marketing campaign. It did not go over well with the residents of the city. Mayor Michael O'Connor took criticism from the community over how the logo turned out, as well as the over $40,000 cost of the campaign. Residents were dissatisfied with their tax dollars being used to pay for this campaign. Mayor O'Connor eventually announced the city would abolish the new logo and go back to using the seal with the iconic spires as was being used prior. Another honorable mention is Dr. Ernesto Torres. Dozens of alleged victims came forward to accuse a Frederick pediatrician of sex offenses against them. Dr. Ernesto Torres was found guilty of second-degree assault and a fourth-degree sex offense and was sentenced to a year in prison. After this, he was charged with an additional 98 sex offense counts while still serving his time for the first-time charges he had already been found guilty of. Additional victims are likely to be heard in trial within 2020. And for our #1 spot for the biggest headline of the year for Frederick County goes to the infamous Great Frederick Fair assault. The Great Frederick Fair made news for all the wrong reasons this year after 2 teenagers had an altercation with a 59-year-old named John Weed of Mount Airy, Maryland, that resulted in one of the teenagers punching Weed. The fallout of the assault and Weed's eventual death brought into question the safety of the fair and the juvenile crime laws in the state of Maryland. The 15-year-old teenager that ultimately threw the punch that killed John Weed pled guilty to a manslaughter charge and was sentenced to remain in juvenile detention in Montgomery County. It even prompted a legislator to introduce a hate crime law that would classify events like these as hate crimes. And those were the top stories relating to Frederick County this past year. Thank you for tuning in. We will certainly be keeping up with the news, and we will catch you the next time.